His picture appeared alongside 26 other men as part of a prostitution sting. Samuel Chacon was arrested for soliciting a prostitute, a misdemeanor, after several law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, conducted a 2-day crackdown on sex crimes. While you might not recognize him, his patients did. He's a local OBGYN in northern Nevada at Women's Health Center of Reno. His arrest for alleged solicitation for prostitution may come as a surprise to the community, but some former patients have filed complaints against him unrelated to the arrest for several years.
I cannot understand how he has continued to do what he's doing for another 21 years.
21 years ago, Tiffany Hoffman was about to give birth, and her attending physician was Samuel Chacon.
He is very coercive. He was trying to force me into surgery. He was pushing really hard for a cesarean.
She refused the C-section and had her baby by natural means, only, she says, to find out 6 weeks later after visiting a different OBGYN that gauze was left inside of her during birth.
At that visit, she found that and was shocked.
But Hoffman says it was Chacon's suturing of a tear after birth that caused more long-term effects.
Not knowing until years later that the suturing that he had done was really subpar. I still have issues to this day. I feel like he butchered me.
Hoffman says it's taken more than 2 decades to emotionally heal from the physical pain that still remains. And Hoffman isn't alone in her complaints. Other women have also come forward.
Someone has to say something.
Eliana Pereyos is also a former patient of Dr. Chacon.
I went to Dr. Chacon for an annual and a pap smear, and I leaked a little bladder leakage that I was having jumping up and down at my son's football games.
Pereyos says after a few tests, Chacon told her she needed surgery.
I was kind of in shock a little, like, oh, I need a surgery.
In fact, Chacon told her she needed 3 surgeries, a bladder sling, a partial hysterectomy, and an anterior and posterior repair.
You know, you trust doctors, like, and I can't see inside myself.
Pereyos went through with these procedures.
I went in for an outpatient surgery, and I woke up and the rest of my life was changed. It was just non-stop excruciating pain, to where that was the only thing on my mind. Like, I couldn't focus. I couldn't do anything.
Pereyos decided to file a complaint with the Nevada State Board of Medical Examiners. The board replied saying they have, quote, opened a case into this matter. When we reached out to the executive director, he said the board is aware of the recent arrest of Dr. Chacon and that the matter is being investigated consistent with normal board investigative procedures. He would not comment on the status of Pereyos' complaint or whether any other complaints have been filed against Dr. Chacon. While Pereyos has filed a complaint with the medical board, 5 women have gone a step further and filed malpractice lawsuits against Chacon.
I individually have 5 cases filed right now, and 2 more are under review with our medical expert.
Julie Throop is a personal injury lawyer in Reno and says almost all the cases filed in Washoe County's 2nd Judicial Court follow the same fact pattern, alleging that Samuel Chacon negligently performed unnecessary procedures which caused, quote, permanent harm.
Dr. Chacon is doing unnecessary surgeries on many women. I don't know how many more are out there, but currently the court is treating them all on an individual basis.
Of the 5 active cases, 3 are pending. 1 was dismissed, and in another, a motion to dismiss is pending. At this juncture, the courts and the medical board have not weighed in on these allegations, and Dr. Chacon has not been found to have committed wrongdoing. The State Board of Medical Examiners told us Dr. Chacon has an active medical license and is in good standing. St. Mary's Regional Medical Center told us the doctor does not currently have privileges at their facility, but would not disclose any reason for that. And as of 1 day after his arrest, renowned Regional Medical Center said Chacon did have privileges. But Hoffman and Pereyos say they don't believe Samuel Chacon should be practicing anywhere.
And if you're hurting more women than you're helping, he shouldn't be allowed to touch anybody.
Now, we reached out to Samuel Chacon and his legal team for comment on this. In a statement, one of his attorneys said about all of his patients and holds himself and those he works with to the highest standard of medical care. He cannot comment on any ongoing legal matters because, as a doctor, he has an obligation to protect patient privacy rights. Dr. Chacon denies any wrongdoing regarding the recent charges against him, and he will vigorously and aggressively defend himself to establish his innocence. It is a shame that these issues are being litigated in the media prior to the completion of this legal process.